entertain, not what you attract. All kind of shit like the light.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pretty Suited Podcast, where we discuss career, culture, and the commitment to being our best selves. I'm your host, Lauren A. How y'all doing today? I hope you guys are doing all right. As you can see, I have a little sign here. It's good to see y'all, as always. Today we have some interesting things to talk about. I know the past week or so has been kind of interesting when it comes to the idea of people literally going above and beyond for the bare minimum. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I've been seeing it all over the place, in my personal life with my friends and my family. And then in the culture, we've been seeing instances of people literally overlooking red flags and accepting the bare minimum just to say that they have someone. So, a lot of this conversation today is centered around that, because enough is enough. What are we doing? Like, seriously, like, what are we doing? That's not the narrative. That's never been my narrative. And I don't want it to be your narrative. Okay. As a part of the Pretty Suited community, we're not having that. Okay. That's not our code of ethics around here. So, but before we get started with that conversation, I brought out my trusty cards. As you know, in the last episode, we were able to bring out some cards just talking about different topics. Our conversation started today. Let's just make it simple. If you inherited $200,000 after taxes, because that's important, what would you do with the money? 200K. Now, while that may not be a lot of money to a lot of people, that's a pretty good chunk of change over here. So, what would I do with $200,000? I would say I would put a large portion of that money away, honestly, because you just never know what the economy is going to do, as we can see. So I definitely would put something away just in case, something that's going to accumulate some interest, some, compound dividends, something that's going to build on its own with the money that I put in. But I will say too, I would probably travel. I think that's probably my biggest desire right now, is to get out and travel and see things, and especially in places where it's like I've never been. So whether that's Asia, whether that's Europe, whether that's, Africa, I want to see like literally the beautiful islands and beaches of, Africa and things like that. So I would love to do that, honestly. So a good chunk will go there. And then a large chunk will also go towards philanthropic things. I mean, what can I say? I'm an Aquarius. I love, helping people, although I don't like people. I love helping people. So a large part of that money will go towards maybe open up some kind of charity so that I can, help young women in some capacity, whether that's through arts or whether that's through different kind of career, something like that, I would say. So, and then also I've always wanted to do a few things in media, as you can see. So just, living out my dreams. Like, why not? Like, if I have a little bit of change that I could put towards my vision, why not? And on a larger scale, why not? So, yeah, $200,000 is not going to go that far, but I think I can make it shake. I've always been a pretty resourceful person, so I can make it work. Okay. So tell me, what would you do with $200,000? Like, let me know in the comments. Like, what would you do? Would you just spend it all on like Birkin bags or trips and stuff like that, or do you have like some other plans for that money? Like, let me know what you think. Our first topic today, I really just want to emphasize like how important it is to get exposed to different things. Like, I really think that's super important. I feel like when you know better, you do better. Like, everybody has heard that before. Your grandma been saying this since the beginning of time. When you know better, you do better. Because how can you honestly expect people to want something for themselves when they've never seen it, when they've never experienced it? They don't even know it exists. Okay. So, unfortunately, that kind of is the case too when it comes to your relationships, whether that's a friendship, relationships with your family, or relationships with, a significant other. I feel like a lot of times the choices that we make in these relationships are dependent upon what we've already seen. If we've seen it work, then we're more likely to do it. If we've seen it not work, we still can repeat it because we have seen it before. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I think that we're probably more inclined to do something negatively, even though we've seen it play out negatively, we're still inclined to actually do it because we've seen it before and it's been a part of our lives and it's kind of taught us how to respond. So if you feel like you deserve the bare minimum, then you're going to put up with the bare minimum. If you feel like you deserve to be abused, you're going to put up with abuse. If you deserve to, get cheated on, you're going to put up with being cheated on. So I feel like if you have a little bit more confidence and more self efficacy to, do what's in your best interest, that's not going to harm you or hurt you, then you're more inclined to go that route. A quick story for me, working in healthcare, I worked in Georgia for a while and, started my career in Georgia, things like that, gathered a lot of experience. I was able to get a bachelor's degree. I was able to, be a leader in my facility and things like that. So me accumulating those skills, it was helpful. But I really wanted to go live in New York because, a lot of my family is there. So I just really wanted to have the opportunity to live there and work there because it's just been a dream of mine since I was young. And so, yeah, I decided to pick up and just move to New York. So I'm not a fool, right? So while I was trying to get a job, before I left, because I wanted to secure a job before I left, right? Because that just makes sense. You know how job applications always ask you, what is your desired salary? And so in the back of your mind, you kind of go over the things you were taught about negotiations. And I put about $5,000 more than what I was making at the moment in Georgia. Because I was like, okay, well, as long as it's more than what I'm making, I'm fine. And, this is way back when I'm like, 24 years old. Didn't really research the market of New York. Didn't really research, salary and things of that nature when it comes to years and things like that. But when I received a call, probably because the amount I put down, but I received a call from a recruiter of a facility and, they wanted to do an interview. And so lo and behold, I flew up there, actually visited some family and went on the interview. And then I was looking at some apartments just in case I did get the job or whatever. And I flew back down to Georgia. And I got a call probably about 3 weeks later saying that I got the job. And I was super excited. I'm talking about I was elated. I was like, I got a job. I could go ahead and put my 2 weeks notice in. Go ahead. I'm out of here. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'm gone. So I was just getting my things together. But when she, paused at the end and was telling me what the compensation was, I had to look at the phone like, huh? Like, are you sure, for this position? And she was like, yeah, based on your 2 years of experience, your degree, your leadership, your experience with this particular program, your experience with this. And she just kept naming off things that I mentioned in the interview just to, make myself sound good. And I had this experience, but I didn't think nothing of it. She, in that moment, taught me that the things that I have accumulated over time that I thought were small skills, that I thought were, not really important, actually contributed to my compensation. In that moment, she taught me that. Yeah, I know that most jobs, they require a degree of some sort and so on and so forth. So I knew that. But the small things that she was naming off that I really didn't even think about actually contributed to my compensation. And in that moment, I understood that while I may not value certain things about me, others do. You do yourself a disservice when you shortchange all the things that you've done, all the things that you've been through. And while people who are, can help you out see so much more in you, they see the light. They see, the work that you put in. They see how you could be an asset to them. So they're going to rate you at a higher market value than you even rate yourself. And so, we have to be careful sometimes, because even the people we are with, can see our worth more than we see ourselves, and how we treat and what we put up with and all of the things come from how we see ourselves. So we may put up with a lot more BS because we don't see it, but they see it. And I'm pretty sure they're like, well, why is she even putting up with this? Like, does she know how much she's worth? Does she know how much she's golden? Does he know how much he's worth? Does he know how much he's valued? No, they don't know. And so that's why they put up with the BS. That's why they put up with things they shouldn't put up with, because they don't see it. And that's jacked up when you think about it, because if a person understands that your market value is high and they continue to rate you and treat you like you less than market value, like you're less than valuable, and they continue to treat you that way, and they want to make sure that you don't really see what you're worth to keep you around, that's trifling. That is trifling. They see it. They don't want you to see it though, because they want to keep you around. So they're going to try to minimize what you got going on. That is trifling. Okay? So, but it happens. It happens all the time. And sometimes we get caught up in it, whether it's at work, whether it's with your spouse, whether whoever. A lot of times, some people are going to try to minimize what you got going on so that they can reap the benefits of who you are. Yeah, so, a lot of people just aren't healed. And that's just point blank period. A lot of people just aren't healed. There's a lot of toxicity going on in these dating streets. Literally, like I said, between myself and my friends, what we have been dealing with these men. Okay, in the past few months, I could tell some stories, but I'm not gonna put people's business out like that. I'm not gonna do it. I want to, but I'm not gonna do it. But I will say that this clip by Stormy P pretty much sums it all up of what we're going through right now. If you are a millennial woman from the ages of 25 to 38, this is what you're going through right now. Check this clip out.
It feel like we all running into the same five. You got the guy who says he's not ready for a relationship but wants to do all the relationship things. Second, you got the guy who's not over his ex and he don't realize he needs to go talk to the lady. Third, you got the one who got a baby on the way. He not really claiming it because he don't know if it's his. Then you got the one who is all on your, giving you everything that you need. Conversation, personality, making you feel comfortable, making you feel safe. And then just randomly decides to ghost you for like 2 weeks. They're not ready and they be so busy. Boy, you. And then the fifth one, this is the one who you try to give a chance to, who's not really in your league. Maybe I need to try some new things, so let me just give him a chance. So you give him a chance and then he play in your face. And that's all that are out here right now. If I missed any of them, please let me know.
Like, does that sound familiar to you? It sounds very familiar to me. Like, honestly, the guy who will waste your time, he deserves a reserved seat in a very hot place. And you know what I'm talking about. That guy is a trip, okay? Because you will literally lower your standards. I'm talking about knowingly say, you know what? Maybe I'm just too bougie. Maybe my standards are just too high. Maybe I should give people more, credit or just a chance, right? And then you give them that chance. And then they will literally play in your face. Child. At first sign of that, I'm like, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. Okay? Thank you, but no thank you. And I just think it's one of those things where, and I think that can stem from someplace. Let's talk about this, because whether the guy is a complete straight up toxic dude, and he just runs with it. Like that's just who he is. It served him well in the world. Women still flock and cater to that person, or men still flock and cater to that woman. They don't have any desire to change until something really big happens. That's just what it is. Because again, they've never had to do better. Their bad behavior has always, you know, produced results for them, positive results. So why should they change? You see what I'm saying? So I think that particular person might not give you what you need, probably won't give you what you need anytime soon. Now, the person who was a love bomber, I've done a little bit of research on this person, right? The love bomber to me is usually a person who did not receive love in a particular way, whether it was from their mother, their father, or something like that. And they feed off of that energy because they didn't have it, right? So they're giving all that energy to a particular person to get what they want, and then they remove it from you. They remove themselves from you, or they remove that energy from you. So now you're stuck left like, okay, what happened to all of this, romantic energy? And it's because probably they're insecure in that energy. They're very, strong with it. Then they get insecure about it. They get insecure about you. They get insecure about the situation, and they just remove themselves from it. And so that is very toxic, because now you kind of don't really know if a person is being sincere or if it's just a means to an end. So that particular person definitely needs healing, because you cannot, show a disingenuine, and I'm not even gonna say it's disingenuine, because it may be genuine to them, but then no, that's not the same thing. Because if it's disingenuine, I feel like you intentionally gave that much energy to a person, thinking and knowing that they're going to respond in a certain way, whether it's sleep with you, date you, give you their time. And then you purposely remove that energy from them because of whatever reason. So that person definitely needs help. I don't know if they need to hug their mother. They need to, talk to their daddy when he come back from the store. They need to go talk to the lady, whatever the case may be. But that is very, very much damaging. Because whether their actions are intentional or unintentional, the damage that it causes a person is long lasting. Because what are you doing to that person, that's being affected? Ultimately, they're not even going to trust anymore. They have literally given up on trusting just because they have been love bombed by you. So, yeah, that's a tough one. But it happens. It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us, honestly, because you just don't know what people are going through. But I think that has to change. Like, and literally, people want love. People want to, literally find that person that they love and that brings them joy. And it's really difficult in this state of dating to have people who are just not dedicating themselves to being better. Like, how can you possibly have a healthy dating pool if people are not doing the work? They see that the errors of their ways, they see how it's affecting people, and they see the damages that's being done, and they're still doing the same thing. Like, that's the definition of insanity. Because honestly, and this is a gossipy, this is a very lighthearted pod. We're not going to get too deep into it, but I know that everybody has seen the Cam Newton interview with Dr. Bryant, in which she is, basically telling him like it is. The damages that he is doing to several different households, to several different children, is going to be long lasting. While he may think that it is beneficial to pay money out and create life with women and have multiple children. Because I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with him wanting to create a legacy and be remembered and all that, egotistical stuff. However, with him doing that in several different homes where he's not even able to really give his time to those children of different mothers in different homes, he's not able to be there and actually be a present father on a day-to-day basis. Somebody's going to feel that hurt, just like Dr. Brian said. Somebody's going to feel that neglect. And one thing I can tell you about people, they never forget what they went through when they were younger. I don't care. Either it's going to come out and manifest in some kind of way, whether good or bad. They never forget, because those are the things that shape you. I've said this time and time again on this podcast. Those are the things that shape you as a person. So whether your father wasn't there, whether you just missed the masculine energy in the home, it's going to manifest, male or female. It's going to manifest. Like, I've seen it. I really do hope that Cam Newton gets the help that he needs. Same thing with Nick Cannon. And I mean, they might just be grown and they just, they're going to do what they're going to do. However, I feel like maybe that conversation might trigger something to where they might view things a little differently. Because what we don't want is, the babies to go through it. They don't deserve that. They didn't ask to be here. And so hopefully they grow up in a healthy environment and their fathers can see the error of their ways and kind of, calm down with the procreation if possible. In our next topic, I just want to say that I find it funny how, going back what we were saying, we have so much trust and loyalty and allegiance to low vibrational things like deadbeat dads and cheaters and people who are narcissistic, people who love bomb, people who aren't just healed but causing chaos wherever they go. We have so much allegiance to these people, but when it comes to friendships, we don't really carry that same energy. I really feel like nobody's saying be dumb. Nobody's saying that you have to let people walk all over you or to do you wrong or to, nobody's saying any of that. What is now being promoted is that all this effort and energy is supposed to go towards romance, but the same energy is not supposed to go towards friendships. I really find it kind of funny how we don't give as much, or we don't process or build resiliency around friendships like we do relationships. I wonder what that's about. Like, we've been seeing a lot of friendships fall out. Friends just fall out over the smallest things, whether it's a trip, a trip to Miami, that is like literally a friendship killer. Now, luckily, I've been to Miami a few times with my friends and we've survived. However, some friends you can't even really travel with just because we understand that we couldn't even, we would bite each other's heads off before we get off the plane. And, again, just simple things turning into big deals versus if it was your partner, your man or your woman, then you will have so much grace. Oh man, let me just bite my tongue. Let me just look the other way. Let me choose my battles. But when it comes to friendships, you'll say what you want to say, do what you want to do, curse them out, and literally cut them off and claim that you guys are just outgrowing each other. Well, wait, did y'all even settle this? Did y'all even settle the score? Did y'all even discuss what went down? You know what I'm saying? Just watch this clip and just you'll see what I'm saying.
What's going on? Why is everybody breaking up with their friends?
I think it doesn't help to constantly have it on your algorithm. You can't trust people these days. Women are so petty these days. Maybe that option of leaving is top of mind because it's all that I have models for. So when I have friction with you, my first thought is, you know what? I don't even need this. I bet you could give me 25 examples.
Yeah.
Of women falling out who were once besties, sisters, and no longer speak.
I had a very public friendship. I'm the type of person where it's like, okay, I want to learn from the mistakes that I made.
Phrases like, it doesn't serve me.
That thing really bothers me. Anybody who's been in a deep relationship, every single day of that relationship isn't you being benefited.
Right.
Why have we treated friendships so secondary? And why is it so necessary?
So if you're an avid podcast watcher like myself, you know that the comedian B. Simone and her best friend at the time, Megan Ashley, as we just saw, they had a podcast together, and it was a really good podcast. They were able to kind of have like a balance of like lifestyle, faith, as well as, you know, just the funnies. So you were able to kind of just see that homegirl, that, you know, friendship kind of flourish in this podcast. Unfortunately, they had differences. Just like with a lot of times with friendships and business, you have a falling out, whether it's due to somebody feeling like they're not being treated fairly, they're not getting paid the same, or just, you know, they're not having time to actually build the friendship versus it just being a partnership with business. So sometimes friends can fall out in different ways like that, but them in particular, they fell out and the podcast ended, and now they have their own separate podcast. But she's asked a very valid question, like, why are we in this space now where you're seeing so many different friendships and, you know, partnerships just dismantle? There's been several different pods. There's been Mandy and Bridget on the See the Thing Is. There's been Elliot and B Dot. Like, it's just so many different pods that's been like that way. When you had a friend around the way, whether it was on the block, it was at school, and you guys really became best friends, that took a little bit of time. That took a little bit of knowing each other. That took a little bit of, you know, actual time spent together. And, you know, you share things in common, and you actually built the friendship. You started to have experiences together. You started to have secrets together, and that built that trust, that camaraderie, you know, those experiences. However, when you're an adult, you don't really dedicate that much time when it comes to actually building your friendship. I think as an adult, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a friendship that you had for some years, a lot of your friendship is built on the past. So, for example, if you guys met in college and you're still friends past college, you know, in your late 20s, early 30s, a lot of the conversation is, do you remember when we was in college, that it was that girl or that guy or that song? Remember we used to play this? And like, a lot of the conversation is built on past experiences, not necessarily new ones. And I think we have to do a better job of building new experiences as friends as we grow older, because our lives change, right? We get married, we have kids, you have different, you know, spouses go in and out, different jobs, different, you know, houses or places that we're living. Like, all these things changes as we grow older. So you really can't stay in the past. You really can't stay on, you know, what you guys did in the past without really upgrading it to what you're going through in the future. Because who's to say that you guys aren't completely two different people? Now, who's to say that now you guys aren't two completely different people? So you have to kind of get to know each other in these different phases still, in order for that friendship to grow. Otherwise, it's literally going to stay stuck in a time machine of the past. So when it goes back to what they were saying about, you know, nowadays, as life is lifing, right? You need that community, that village that you can share these experiences with. Otherwise, you're going to run your spouse to the ground because they're not your therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could be your best friend and all, but I think it's very healthy for you to have that outside circle that you can talk about these different things with. And then a lot of times, friendships that break up, I say it comes from one particular person being able to see things from the outside in, and the person on the inside don't like that. They don't agree with it. They don't like that because they're just completely too tied to the situation, i.e. their spouse. If you tell me your spouse did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm looking at it objectively, right? I'm gathering this evidence, I'm getting that evidence, I'm over here, I'm looking at it from the outside in. You may not see it from the inside out because you're so biased, you're so close to the situation. So a lot of, I think, friendships even end with just a differences on perspective. While they may not see your perspective because you're looking at it from a different angle. And, but if that's the case, just settle it. Just say, hey, you got a difference in opinions. Agree to disagree. But you're going to throw away, a good person, a loyal person, person that you could spend, your life building experiences with over just a simple disagreement. I don't think that that's right. Because honestly, let's just call a spade a spade. It's hard to find good people these days. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their egotistical. Everybody is very selfish. There's a lot of things going on to where if you find like a good set of friends, and I'm talking about loyal friends, I'm talking about friends who will check you when you're wrong, support you when you're down, love you when you feel unloved. You know what I'm saying? Like real genuine friendship. Don't let something minute as just a difference in opinion on a small matter break you up. Or don't let a Miami trip break you up. You know what I'm saying? And when it could just be rectified. If you're going to give that energy to that other person who's going to who's been cheating on you since the 99 and the 2000, who has been driving your car, who's been running up your gas, who's been, running up your credit, you're going to give them 50 lemon chances, but you can't give your friend of 20 years who has been, you know what I'm saying, down for you or been supportive of you, and you're not going to give that a shot. You're not going to rectify that situation. Which one is easier? I'm confused. I'm confused. Maybe the 20-year friendship isn't easier because they just know too much about you. Ooh. I'm just saying. But anyways, I just thought that was a good clip because I have been seeing a lot of friendships fall apart across my timeline. Like I told you guys a few episodes ago, I had to do an audit of my own friendships. Me and my friends have literally took the time out to talk with each other, to voice what's going on with us, to really put an effort into being in each other's lives at this adult age, because everything is going on. You have to be intentional about that, otherwise it will literally fall apart and you won't even realize it. So kudos to my girls, you know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna get into our watch list of the week. So this week's watch list of the week is about a movie that I saw. Y'all, I want to say, I hope I didn't do this one yet. I don't think I did. But it's a show that me and my friends, you know how sometimes you have like a couple of, glasses of wine and you watching Tubi. You watching Tubi and you come across a movie that has you going, And when I say that, I'm talking about a movie called Fatal Lust. Fatal Lust is about these two twins. You see me twirling my hair, right? Because it's yeah, it's a little spicy. But yeah, Fatal Lust is about two twins who one twin is of course a lawyer, very debonair, very, I'm not gonna say it because I'm sick of that word. I'm not gonna say demure. But yeah, very debonair, very, intelligent, attorney general, things like that, or prosecutor, something like that. That's, in the legal world. And he has a beautiful wife who is a real estate chick who's, getting her business together, selling real estate. And the brother of the lawyer is coming out of jail. And just like with most movies like this, the brother is bad to the bone. He got a little edge to him. And he stays with the couple until he can get on his feet. Sounds like a Zane novel, right? And it just gets really, really spicy. It gets really, really, suspenseful. And you guys got to check it out. It was a good one. Me and my girls, we definitely ran it back and watched it again. And yeah, I mean, it's a cute little spicy. It reminds me of like some, like I said, Zane, or some kind of like Kimberly Lawson. That's who it reminds me of. I took that back. Kimberly Lawson. Because why does that even happen? Like, we all know, we've seen these movies and we understand that you never bring a criminal or somebody who has been in jail or a cousin or a neighbor or a best friend. You never bring them in your house. I don't understand why we keep doing this. We know the outcome. We know what's going to happen when they come into the house. Like, that's just a given, and especially if that person, isn't thorough like that, or they got some secret animosity towards you. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm not saying that everybody would cheat. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that you're increasing the odds when that happens. And it's, it just is what it is. I remember back in the day, when Tyrese and Red Run had a show. Red Run said something that I'll never forget. When Tyrese's lady came around, Red Run used to just leave the room. And so it got to the point where Tyrese's lady was like, well, I don't think he likes me. Like, Tyrese and Red Run were like best friends. And the girl was like, I don't think he likes me too much, because he's always leaving the room when I show up. And Tyrese really had to ask Red Run, like, you got something against my girl? Like, she always say you leave the room. And Rev Run said something that I'll never forget. He said, Tyrese, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not even going to put myself in a position for something to look crazy. He'd been married for years, decades, right? And although he doesn't think that he'll cheat on his wife with this girl, he doesn't even want to put himself in the position for something even weird to be questioned. Right? He looked at me funny. He did this, he did that, right? He doesn't even want that energy around. So he just removes himself from the situation. He doesn't have any issue with her. He just doesn't want that energy to be present. And that takes a strong individual. That takes a self-aware individual to understand that. I'm not saying everybody got to move like that, but at least he understands that the way that I move, I want to have a stand-up relationship with my best friend and his lady. I want it to be all 10 toes square. No issues, no conversation, no even miscommunication. Don't even misconstrue what I'm trying to do here. And so I thought that was pretty dope. Now let's get into our tune of the week. This week's tune of the week features an artist who I've loved for years now. He's always put out really good music, kind of in the neo soul type of realm, but he's reinventing himself, and he is just absolutely fine, okay, and has a great voice. And I'm talking about Lucky Daye. Lucky Daye just put out an album, and I have been bumping the song Algorithm from the album nonstop. It's just really like a 70s kind of a vibe to it. It has a lot of bass in it. It just really is one of those songs that I feel like reminds me of early neo soul. I really enjoy that era. I don't know about you guys, but I was, a teenager in that era. And it was really a time where you felt like music had variety. And I feel like that's one thing I really do love about Lucky Daye, is that he gives you variety. Although it's a soul sound, it still doesn't sound like the same thing over and over again. So check it out. It is Lucky Daye Algorithms. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. As always, don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe. Share, tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend, so that way we can grow this community. I appreciate all of the support, all the new subscribers that have joined. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to to not only like and share the YouTube page, but also the Instagram. So follow me at the Lauren A on Instagram as well. You cannot manifest the life you don't feel like you deserve. So create the life that you want and look to the sky for grace. As always, until next time, bye.